Hello, I'm Adam Barralet and welcome to my astrological forecast for April 2022. This is the time when I like to look at the actions and the movements of the sun, the moon, the planets and the asteroids to work out what type of energies will be descending down from the heavens onto Earth. What we also do is we discover how Mother Earth, our loving mother, supports us by giving us different gifts in the way of crystals and essential oils that we can use to work and harmonize with these energies as we have the different astrological happenings, so that we can not just survive, but that we can actually thrive as well. So really interesting when I look at the overall arching theme for April, and it's really kind of culminating in where we have that full moon halfway through the month, and I will get to that in a little while. But when I look down at the pile of crystals that I want to share with you today, I see a lot of red, black and pink. So when you think of those colors, what comes to mind? Well, the first half of the month is really all about selfhood, or looking after oneself. And of course, on the 1st of April, we have our new moon in Aries. Now, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and it actually governs selfhood, or the individual. It's about looking after oneself. It's about empowering oneself. And the fact that you're interested in this type of thing would suggest to me that you have some type of healing trait about you. You may not work as a healer or know a healing modality, but just in your way of being, you like to help and support and heal other people in whichever way you can. But if we are not at our best, then we can't give our best. And as we look at the full moon that is coming in a couple of weeks, it is really important for us to complete that full circle and make sure that we are a complete person and that we don't need anyone else, that they're a pleasant addition to our lives in that way. So this is a really time for empowering oneself. So it's a time for looking at, where am I relying on someone else and can I not rely on myself? Where can I empower myself and look after myself? You know, I've been reading a couple of really great passages recently about self-care. And we often think about self-care as bubble baths and chocolate. But self-care is actually doing what we need to do to put our life in order so that we will have a successful future. Self-care is making sure that we eat healthy. Self-care is getting out of bed and exercising. Self-care is writing out all our debts or planning a budget to get our money in order and all those types of things. And around the new moon in Aries, this is a really great time to do that, to look at what do I need to be re-empowered and re-strengthened. So the crystal that I've chosen, I've actually chosen a family of crystals, although they're not actually crystals, but they're allowed to hang out with the crystal family. They're the obsidians. Of course, obsidians are formed through volcanic eruptions. They're a natural glass. The most common one, of course, is good old black obsidian. Now, if you think about a volcano, it's got that power within it, it brings it to the surface. And that's exactly what obsidians allow us to do, to bring our power up to the surface. So a good old black obsidian would be really great to work with on the new moon. It being black, as black crystals are great around the new moon period as well. But there are other ones as well. Probably my favorite obsidian that I work with a lot is Snowflake Obsidian. So you can see that it's got the black, but it's also got these little white snowflakes formed from another crystal in there. This has got a bit of a yin-yang energy about it. And for me, my empowerment comes through balance. I love working and I love what I do. Sometimes I overdo it and I need to kind of chill out for a little while. And so this is a really great one for helping me kind of connect back with power comes through sometimes taking a rest, not by doing more. Another one, Mahogany Obsidian, got this beautiful red and black, so that mahogany color in it. This has got a really, I often connect this crystal to the elephant. And of course, elephants are a matriarchal herd animal, and so this is very much one really good for empowering older women or women that need to find their own power to take the lead in life, especially as they get older. You know, we see in places like Hollywood, for example, that men as they get older become more prestigious and women start lying about their age because they don't want to be too old and not be cast for movies. This is a really great one for women who are worried about getting older and not honoring that aging process and the wisdom and the knowledge that comes with it as well. Other ones that are really cool, you may have seen a gold sheen. Let me see if I can get a bit of sheen on there. There you go, you can see the gold sheen and the silver sheen obsidian. These are a couple of cool carved knives. So these are, again, black obsidian where oxygen bubbles are being caught in there. So it creates a gold or a silver sheen. Gold sheen awakens the divine masculine within us, our ability to be logical, to plan, to fight for what we believe in, that warrior essence. Whereas the silver sheen helps with that feminine aspect, that goddess aspect, that nurturing, loving, caring, nurturing for ourselves and caring for ourselves and doing what we love, feeling into it and tuning into our intuition. A final one, it's an obsidian show today. Hopefully I can get it. Oh, the light's always a little bit funny. This is rainbow sheen obsidian. You may be able to see just over here a little bit of rainbow sheen. I've got separate YouTube videos in that if you want, but that helps us to bring out our light, bring out our joy and our happiness in that type of way. So what do you need to kind of feel more empowered? Do you need a bit of a rest? Do you need to lean into your divine masculine or your divine feminine side? Do you need to find your joy and your happiness again, to remember what actually makes you shine? Lean into one of the obsidians around that new moon, as well as ginger. Ginger is of course linked, because it is a red flowering plant, is linked to Mars, which is the ruler of Aries, which this new moon is in. And so ginger is a really great one to inhale to help us raise our vital energy. You know, physically I love ginger. I love to pop a drop of this in water and drink it if I'm feeling a bit nauseous. And nausea can come from, digestively, physically, but it can also, if we feel disempowered, we're like, oh, it doesn't feel right. So working with the gingers and the obsidians at this time are really great. New moon is a great time to sit down, contemplate. You don't have to do any major magical action, but just think, what do I need to bring in? Now, as we go on, we then get to the 7th of April, and there are 2 minor retrogrades happening at this time. One thing I do want to throw in as well, none of the major planets that we know, from Mercury all the way through to Pluto, are in retrograde at this point in time. So retrogrades are a period for kind of introspection. When they're all direct, it's a time for action. So this is your last month. I'm giving you your last call for getting out there, doing things, being empowered and that type of thing. Works really well if you're in the southern hemisphere, because we're starting to go into the slower months and we're starting to go into retrograde season as well. I digress. So on the 7th of April, we have 2 retrogrades. The first one is Proserpina. Now, Proserpina is the Roman name for the Greek Persephone, and this is an asteroid. Now, if you haven't heard of the story of Persephone, in short, it was a beautiful young girl, or goddess, who was in a field with her maidens once, and suddenly the earth opened up and Hades, or Pluto, kidnapped her. Now, while she was missing, her mother, who's Demeter, or Ceres, who is the goddess of fertility, stopped doing her job. So what happened? Fruits and grain stopped growing, flowers stopped growing on trees, and we had our first winter. Eventually, what happened was a deal was brokered between Pluto and Ceres that Persephone would spend half the time out on the earth with her mother, and this signified when we have spring and summer, and then half the year down in the underworld with Pluto, and that would be autumn and winter. Now, when we look at Persephone, what was her role in this? Well, she actually quite enjoyed being in the underworld as well as spending time with her mum, and she became the goddess of the queen of the underworld. So she was kidnapped. So we can lean into that victim mentality, or we can lean into that she actually took advantage of that and became empowered and the queen of the underworld as well. So what Persephone retrograde will bring up is where we feel out of our depth. This is a situation where we might feel, out of the safety of the home or something like that. Somewhere where it might be that you've just stepped into a new job role. It might be that you've moved city, that you've become single again, something like that. And this is the case of sink or swim. And Persephone will help us to realize that we do have that power within us to do what we need to do. The crystal that really works well with this is a black garnet. Now, black garnets come in a range of different colors. They grow in squares. Oh, sorry, no. I tell a lie. Not a black garnet. We'll come to a black garnet later. A black sapphire. I was wondering where I was going with that. Black sapphire. Sapphires come in all colors as well, apart from the color red, because that's a ruby. But black sapphires, we know sapphires are very strong. They've got a Mohs hardness of 9 out of 10. So very, very strong. So it's about commitment. And black is very protective as well. So it's about a commitment to the core of who you are. So when you're out of your depth, know that this too will pass and come back to who you are. And Persephone is very empowering in that way. The essential oil that works really well with Persephone, or Proserpina, whichever you want, the Greek or the Roman name, but the asteroid is after the Roman name Proserpina. Myrtle is a plant. The Egyptians saw had these beautiful white blossoms, and they saw that as representing our life here on Earth. And then later in the year, it would have some black berries, and this would represent, going into the underworld. But where we get the oil from myrtle is we get it from the leaf. The leaf is eternal, so it represents the soul. And so this is about leaning into who you are, knowing who you are, and having confidence in that as you go out into the world. So do you see how this carries on from our new moon in Aries, being very much about find that empowerment. Then as you step out into the world, if you get tested around Proserpina, retrograde, then it's about being true to who you actually are again. Now, I said there was a second retrograde. Also, there's a minor planet beyond Pluto known as Quaoar, Quaoar, and that turns retrograde as well. Now, Quaoar is all about finding harmony and balance, and normally between balancing our yin and our yang aspects again. So we've got that masculine, feminine within us that we were talking about before. We've got working out where we have discriminations, and that maybe we've learnt discriminations from our family in the past, and how can we harmonize who we are to be a more balanced individual. The crystal that works really well with Quaoar retrograde is Sonora Sunrise. So this is actually crimson cuprite, or just cuprite, and this is chrysocolla, and they grow together. Isn't it a spectacular looking stone? And I find chrysocolla being quite feminine, cuprite being quite masculine. They're both copper minerals, so copper is the metal of love. So you've got this love of masculine, feminine, and that real balance and harmony in that way. So Quaoar retrograde will bring up different things where we'll realize how we are out of balance, out of harmony, either within ourselves or in our attitudes and how we approach life, and how to find that harmony again. When we often learn how to be out of balance, this can be because of things that we've learned from our family in the past. It can be from parents, that have been passed on from grandparents, and so on. And the oils that are renowned for helping us to heal all that are the furs. So you could work with white fir, Douglas fir, Siberian fir, or if you're a bit of a doTERRA customer, if you're not, I can help you out with that and give you a discount and some goodies. Holiday Peace. This is an oil that they bring out each holiday season at the end of the year, and this actually has 3 different furs in it. It's got the Douglas fir, Siberian fir, as well as Himalayan fir, vetiver, which really helps us to ground ourselves and settle down. It's got frankincense, ground and expand with frankincense, and then grapefruit, which is about respect ourselves. So this is a really nice blend for that Quaoar retrograde. So do you see how the first week of the April is really going to help us to find our empowerment, find what we're loyal to, even in the challenges, and kind of sort out any of our rubbish and our garbage. Why is this important? Because then we get to the 16th of April, and this is our full moon in Libra. Now, if you've been watching some of my content for a while, you know that each zodiac sign represents a different aspect of life. Libra represents relationships. Now, this can be all relationships, but specifically, this is a great one for love. So if you're looking for love, which full moon should you be asking for it on? This one, the one in Libra. So happening on the 16th of April. So what we want to do, and why the universe is setting us up so beautifully in this month, is when we're looking at going into a relationship, we don't want to find someone who's going to fill holes in our life, who's going to complete us in that way, because then we go into it being needy or having expectations on someone else. If we've done our work in the first 15 days of April and really found who we truly are and feel empowered, then bringing a romantic partner into our life, that's a nice addition. That's a bonus, and we can actually give to them without requiring and yearning different things. And when things don't go right, it ruins our day. So it's a really great approach as we get ready for this full moon in Libra. So I've chosen 4 different crystals for this one, depending on what you want to focus on. So as I said, it doesn't have to be about love. Maybe at the moment you don't want to focus on romance for whatever reason. You might want to work out, I want to bring in some healthy business relationships or some more friends or something like that. It's where Goshenite. This is actually a clear emerald or a clear beryl. It's part of the beryl family along with aquamarine and heliodor. So Goshenite, you can see it's got 6 sides. It grows in the hexagonal rods. And this really helps us to find that harmony and that balance in relationships in that way, and can be a really great one for attracting that. being a clear stone, also really great to work on the full moon. We can also bring in our Power Punch 3 oil crystals that help with love as well. So first of all, we have pink petalite. Pink petalite's the one I'm going to recommend if you just want to enhance your relationships and bless them with a bit more love. Maybe you're happily in a relationship and all's going well. You don't need to manifest anything else. Maybe you'll just spend the full moon in Libra envisaging it in a bubble of love. And this pink petalite is really great for that. If you are in a relationship and you want to bring a bit more harmony and balance, this is where Morganite. So this is a pink emerald. So it's just the pink version of the Goshenite. And this is really great for bringing harmony back into relationships. So if there's a bit of unsteadiness and you want to kind of feel that flow again, work with your Morganite. Or for all the single ladies and the single guys, if you're ready to find the one, then this is where we want our Kunzite. So Kunzite is the one that helps to establish strong, lifelong connections between you and other people. Now this can, of course, be between a lover or a romantic partner, or it can be between friends as well. So you may just want soul friends to support you on your spiritual journey. Maybe that's where you're at right now. This is a great time to sit down with one of these crystals and program it and really focus on that. You may also want to program some incense, and I've got a YouTube video on that because Libra is an air sign and you can burn that incense for the rest of the days of April as well. The essential oil that I've chosen to go with this, label's a little bit dark, the lighting's a little bit dodgy, sorry about that, is rose essential oil. Of course, there are many different love essential oils, but none greater than rose. And what rose is about, it's about unconditional love or love without expectation. Think about the last time that you got upset by someone and it was probably because they didn't fulfill an expectation. What if we'd done our work in the first 15 days of April and we were whole and complete and we were just happy to get whatever a nice person wanted to bring into our life as a cherry on top? Rose allows us to be in that space rather than that desperate, needy type of person. Now to kind of hammer this home, on the 25th of April, we have Psyche, one of the major asteroids, going direct. Now, where is Venus is very much just about love and romance and sex and attraction. Psyche is about that soul connection. So it really ties in around this Libra time. Now, when do we feel a retrograde most? When it's going in and when it's coming out. So as Psyche goes direct on the 25th of April, this is a time when any relationship that you're in can really be tested. To go, is this truly what my soul wants? If you're single, you may find on dating or different things happen to make you question, what do I truly want? What do I yearn for in a relationship? And so it's a really great time to contemplate that. You know, Psyche really asks you, are you willing to die for love? Now, I'm not suggesting that you need to, but what that's saying is, you know, love is such this all-encompassing thing, and it's where we learn some of our greatest lessons about ourselves and who we actually are because of the level of intimacy we get to in love. Psyche really wants us to make sure that we are in the right position to do that and that we're not wasting our time. Pink sapphires. So we've got another sapphire here, again, being committed to love. And what are we committed to? Do we want to commit to this and do we not? Discernment in love. Pink pepper is an amazing essential oil for helping you get really clear on which relationships you want to stay in, which relationships you want to attract, and which relationships you want to get out of. So they can be really great to work with around the 25th of April when Psyche is going direct. Now, on the 29th, I'm sorry, but retrograde season begins. And this is when Pluto turns retrograde, the first of our major known planets. Now, I know some people call it a dwarf planet, but hey, that's just a name. It still impacts us greatly. So, those planets that are the furthest out affect the deepest aspects within us. Pluto is known as being related to our volcanic energy. Again, we go back to that obsidian kind of energy, that kind of finding our inner motivations. What happens when Pluto goes retrograde is we'll start to question what actually motivates us and our animalistic drives to succeed and go forward in life. Are you going to the gym because you actually care and respect yourself, or are you doing it to try and, get revenge for someone and have a better body than someone else, or try and attract someone else? Are you doing a job, or are you starting a charity for, notoriety and attention and, to get famous or something like that? Or, do a profession that will get you famous, or are you doing it to actually make a difference in the world? These kind of things will start to bubble inside us around that Pluto retrograde. Again, it's about coming back to what are we actually trying to achieve, and what are our motivations behind that. This is when I'd suggest you really lean back into your obsidians, especially your Sheen ones. Looking at what are my motives, what is getting me up in the morning with my gold Sheen obsidian, and what is making me show love. Why am I being kind to people? Do I actually care about them, or am I trying to get something out of them? This is a time to detoxify and purge all the rubbish. A Pluto retrograde is great to do a physical detox, physically get out of it, but also emotionally and mentally. Look at what actions, what thoughts, what motivations are within you that you know are not top notch, and not for the highest or greatest good of all concerned, and not for your greatest good as well. This is a really great time to lean into juniper berry. Juniper berry is a really great detoxifying essential oil. It allows us to get rid of all the muck out of us as well. It also allows us, it's an oil of the darkness. So, like Pluto's out in the icy darkness of our solar system, juniper berry allows us to safely go in to the darkness and to kind of face our fears and to go, maybe I have been living a bit of a lie. How can I be a bit more authentic? And a really great way to use this, either drop in water, if it's one that you can take in water. Remember, not all essential oils can be had in water. Or I actually will take 3 drops, mix it with some fractionated coconut oil, and massage that into the soles of my feet at night. And I find I have a lot more dreams, and those dreams kind of evoke different ideas and thoughts throughout the day afterwards as well. So that's our Pluto retrograde. That's going to be happening until the 8th of October. So it's really about purging and becoming more authentic until we get into our direct season, kind of through the summer of the southern hemisphere, or the winter of the northern hemisphere. Finally, because a lunar cycle is about 28 days, we've got a little a final new moon sneaking in on the 30th, because we've got one on the 1st and one on the 30th. This new moon's going to be in Taurus, so we're moving to the next sign. So what is Taurus about? It's about financial and material, health, wealth, and well-being. So how are you with your money? And it's, you know, as spiritual people, we might go, oh, well, I don't need to worry about money. There are more important things than money. Yeah, there are. But money is an important form of value that allows us to experience the life in different ways. And, you know, it's opposing sign Scorpio, which is all about spiritual exploration. It's hard to spiritually explore things if you're worrying about bills and can't pay your rent and different things like that. So having financial health is part of being all-rounded as well. So there are a couple of crystals we can work with here. If you're someone who feels that they need to save a bit more money, Jet is one of my favorite crystals for saving money. And if you've got money and you want to invest it or build on that, that's where we need our black garnet. Black garnets grow in squares, and they help us to build upon what we've already got. So that can be really helpful. Knowing that you are worthy of money, and that you, as a beautiful person, can use that money to create your world and the world around us, because every dollar we spend dictates what world we live in. Where we spend our money on our groceries, on our clothing, on our cars, all those different things dictate which companies do well and which don't, and the direction of our future. More powerful than voting in a governmental election, in my opinion. Bergamot Mint is a really great one for helping us feel refreshed and confident and valued and worthy of having money. Money is an amplifier. It makes good people great, and it makes bad people worse. If you're a good person, especially if you've looked at who you truly are in April, and you found yourself a good partner maybe around the full moon, and Pluto has actually helped you to purge all that stuff as we go into the new moon in Taurus, you're a good person. You deserve money because you can make this world a better place. And Bergamot Mint allows us to feel confident having money and holding on to money. It's a really great one if you feel that you spend too recklessly, or that whenever you get money, bills seem to mysteriously arise and take away all your money. So, I hope I painted a bit of a picture of what you can expect through April. This is really about looking at who you truly are at the start of the month, making sure that you're a fully rounded person, and then around that full moon period and Psyche going direct, we look into love. What do we really truly want in love? And then we come back at the end with that Pluto retrograde and that new moon in Taurus about, again, valuing ourselves as well. Each of the crystals and each of the essential oils that I've spoken about pretty much all of them I've done a YouTube video on as well. So as you go through the month, you can kind of, look at them a little bit more and work out how to work with them as well. Now, I've said a lot in this 25-minute video, so if you'd like to know the summary, look in the description below, and I popped all the crystals and all the events and when they're actually happening down there as well. There's other ways you can hear more about this. I've got my podcast, The Blessed Journey, and I actually teach a course that's available. If you're interested in either of them, look at my contact details below. You'll find the link to my podcast and link to contact me if you'd like to be part of that course as well. So April is a great time to empower yourself and draw people into your life that will actually help you as a complete person to rise up to the next level. Really, really exciting month, really great opportunities. Don't waste it, and I hope that this video has been really helpful in helping you be set for the month ahead. I'm Adam Barralet. Blessed be.